That's fine. Firstly, I wanted to say thank you for inviting us, Shaz, and to the World Hope Forum. We have a conversation last week, and I was saying that it does really resonate with us, with the Tatreez Collective, what you guys do, the vision that is behind. And I wanted also to start the presentation today by saying that I think it's a really good day to kind of like talk about Tatreez, our value, our vision, how it started, taking into account the current situation in Palestine. I'll start by saying that, as Shasa say, we are the Tatreez Collective. I am Palestinian, and Tatreez started as a way to preserving our identity through the crafts, but also as a way of resisting. We see our practice as a way of resistance as well. So we actually use this phrase, which is Tatreez to exist, because we feel like you can produce something, you can make a dress or a beautiful picture with Tatreez that nobody will be able to take away from you. So it's such a big statement for us. Tatreez, for people that they don't know, they don't speak Arabic, means embroidery in Arabic, and is well known to be an art that has been around for more than 300 years. From my studies, I found out that there's a lot of similarities with other patterns in different areas, including Italy, Venice, which was one of the first European city to start with embroidery, and there is influence of some of those areas in Palestine. Tatreez is a way for us to tell the story about Palestine, because it is a reflection of the history that they went through. And what we do with our practice, as I say, is like to preserve the practice and the craft, because this is something that I have this picture here, which is a group of women doing embroidery Tatreez in the 1920s. And this is something that you used to learn with your mother, with the females, with your neighbors as a community in Palestine. Obviously, for people like myself, that I grew up in the diaspora, I didn't have that opportunity to have that community. So building that community for us, it was also very important as preserving the craft as it is and the meaning. So going back to the part of the history, recently, a couple of years ago, UNESCO announced that Tatreez was going to be included in the list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. And to be fair, that day was such a good day for me, because it is a way of recognizing us and recognizing that it is our craft. It is a Palestinian craft. And this is very important because you find a lot of, around the world in different kind of cultures, sometimes you find cultural appropriation. And I put this picture here because I think it's really strong. This was a Miss Universe contest in 2020 in Israel. And the participants, they are wearing a Palestinian thobe. But the way that the media picture it, it was an Israeli traditional dress, which is basically taking away 3,000 years from my ancestors and take it from us, which obviously that's why the step of like recognizing that as a Palestinian art and a craft, it was such a relevant thing for us as a Tatreez Collective. I want to talk today briefly about how I mentioned before that Tatreez is a way of telling Palestinian history. Back in the days before 1948, which was a very specific days for Palestinian people and for human rights in general, because it's known as the Nakba, which is translated in English is the catastrophe, when many Palestinians, they were expelled from their lands and become refugees as a result of this creation of the State of Israel. So Tatreez, prior to 1948, it was a way of telling people where you are from based on the patterns, based on the colors. And I want to show you guys some of the patterns and then how that changed after 1948. So to start as well, I want to say that there's different kind of embroidery in Palestine. The one that we teach in our workshops is the first one, which is the cross stitch, is called Fallahi. Fallahi means rural, like village, because it used to be something that used to be very much practiced in the rural areas, rather than in the cities as we do right now, something very fancy. But there's also other kind of embroidery that the last one that you see on the screen, Tahriri, coaching stitch, is very much famous in Bethlehem and Jerusalem. But cross stitch is something that you probably have seen if you have seen Palestinian thobs, which is the traditional dresses, that's cross stitching. And the majority of the patterns that they are documented are using cross stitch. So I wanted to start by showing you guys my favorite motif, which is the tree of life. So the tree of life, it has such important significance in Palestine and is really close to my heart because of the meaning. So back in the days, the tree of life was something that was very representative of Jaffa area, south of Palestine. And the meaning of the reason why they started embroidering the cypress trees, because it was an area that was rich of nature, and cypress tree was one of those. So Tatreez, again, as I say, it reflects the environment. Women, they used to embroider whatever was around them, and whatever was in the nature, whatever was important for them, or any historic moment that was important, or anything in their life that was important. And the tree of life was something, as I say, very representative of Jaffa. But after 1948, it became a very pattern that was used around many other areas because of the meaning. So cypress tree is a tree that it is always green. This is basically, I'm just putting the screen, different tree of life from different areas, because obviously it will not stay the same. And that's the whole thing about Tatreez as well, that it does not stay the same. Depending who is stitching, you will see it from a different lenses. Or maybe in the area that you are, you will have different shapes, for example. So as I was saying, the meaning changed as like cypress tree is always green. Green, as you must know, is the color of hope, which is also in the Palestinian flag, by the way. And it was a way of like making a statement of, as Palestinians, despite the hardship, we always keep hope. We always have hope. We always keep green. And that's why it's basically one of my favorite motifs. Again, another example of how Tatreez changed in the history after before 1948. This is a woman that is doing some gardening harvest in a thobe that I hope you can appreciate. It is called the garden dress. The garden dress, initially, it was a dress that mainly all the families have as a dress that you use for gardening, mainly, obviously, as it says. And it's mainly flowers and, nature, flower motif. After 1948, the meaning of this thobe, it changed to something significant. So it will be one more flower stitched on your thobe for every family member that they have to move to the diaspora because they become refugees. So it is it is quite a significant change. I mean, there's so many other motifs that we could go through, but I just wanted to give you a couple of examples of the motifs and how the meaning of Tatreez changed and how it has evolved with the history of Palestine. How it was just as simple and innocent of representing your day-to-day life, maybe whether you are married, whether where you are from in Palestine, whether you are from Jaffa, from Jerusalem, but that has been completely moved after 1948 because of the point that we got where it became more a symbol of national unity rather than I am from this village. So now when Palestinians wear their thobs, it's true that obviously you have thobs that if you know about Tatreez, you're able to see and understand where are they coming from. But as a whole, right now it's a symbol of national unity, and that's how it's now being preserved. Also, something that I wanted to mention is Tatreez is, and it is now, and it was a very important source for women, specifically in the first Intifada, because traditionally women used to be the ones who they will take care of the family, you know, stay at home, maybe more traditional gender roles back in the days. And of course, after the first Intifada, many women and families, they lost the person who was the provider, the main economic provider for the house, or they have to move to another country like Jordan, which is the country that has the biggest population of Palestinian refugees. So women, they have to do something to help the family to survive, and Tatreez was a way to make a living for them at that time. And I have to say that still till now, there are different Tatreez centers, not only in Jordan, but also in Palestine, and now specifically with the current situation in Gaza, there is Tatreez centers as a way of supporting women that they don't have any skill, they don't have a chance maybe to, you know, study, or the economic situation doesn't allow them to get them a job in what they study, but like Tatreez has been a way of providing for families. So as I say, not only in Palestine, but also in the diaspora, both Tatreez as a way of preserving the culture, as a political statement for resistance, but also as an economic source. And there's also a very significant thing that also shows how textiles, embroidery, craft, and I would say women, we are very creative. So during the first Intifada, there was a ban of using the Palestinian flag. Palestinians, they were arrested or killed for using Palestinian flags. So women, they embroider what is now known as the Intifada dress. The Intifada dress, as you can see in the picture, it has the Palestinian flags, and it has some of the locations as like Jerusalem and the Al-Aqsa Mosque embroidered in the chest panel. This was also, again, a statement, and how Tatreez has to evolve with the current climate and the current situation, and how women have to use the creativity and the resources to survive and to make a statement of their existence. So, as I say at the beginning, for us, it is, for me specifically, as well as Palestinian, it is a way to connect with my identity. In my workshops, I'm always say that I'm really happy someone leave that workshop picking up the craft, because it is a way of like passing and continuing the craft in the diaspora, and also creating that community that many of us, we didn't have the chance to have because the current situation in our countries. So yeah, that is all. I don't know if someone has questions. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can see myself back.
Dina, thank you so much. I think what I wanted to just bring up is that you organize and a number of hands-on workshops where people can learn about Tatreez, where they can practice it, where you build community, both a network within your community, but also outside of it. Do you want to talk really briefly about that?
Our workshops specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so yes, shall say, we started a year ago. We start just as like during the pandemic. I think many people have a lot of time, and I got this identity crisis, to be honest, like with you guys, because I'm also Spanish, so obviously Spanish Palestinian growing up in the diaspora. So I have this urge to connect with my roots in all different way that it was not the language or maybe the food or the music. And Tatreez was just like a way to, as I say, build something with my hands. And like, to be fair, it's cheaper than therapy. So like, I recommend it. In our workshops, we started a year ago, as I say, in our workshops, we really highlight, we want people to learn the craft. I think is something really nice. You can create very beautiful things, but we also give a theoretical part at the beginning where we give some introduction about this, about the history. We like to create a climate where everybody's welcome, whether you are Palestinian, whether you are not, whether you just want to learn, whether we just want to be part of the community, because it's also a value that it sings very well with obviously our vision of creating that community. Everybody is welcome. Doesn't matter the experience that you have. You might already embroider, you might not. We have workshops with completely beginners. We have workshops with people more advanced, but we will spend the time with each of you, each individual that comes, to make sure that they leave with something. They leave the workshop with something that they take home that they created. So I think that makes me feel really proud, right? I am very proud when I see people like also taking with them something and be that excited. So it's usually like a couple of hours. It's 2 hours workshop because we want people to be able to, as I say, finish something and take it with them. And we've been we actually hosting one in December for Christmas, and a couple of them at the end of November as well. And then we'll see next year, but we'll take a break for Christmas as well. Yeah.
I think it's really important to recognize that there's the tangibility of an outcome is a big part of what is the communicator of craft and tradition and place and people and so many things. So planning on coming to one of your next workshops.
Of course, very welcome. Everyone is very welcome to come. As I say, our main purpose is to give visibility, but also we want to create that environment, that community with everybody's welcome. And also everybody is welcome to tell the story through the embroidery as well. Because as I say, Tatreez, you have traditional motif, but it is something that you can also create with your current situation. So I'm being Spanish Palestinian living in London, you know, I might be inspired by my current climate and my current situation and what is important for me in my life right now. So very welcome to come and also like let your creativity open and release some stress.
Thank you so much. And all of these links to films and websites and Insta feeds are on the bios that are on the World Hope Forum. So if you're interested, you can go back to them and see how to connect with Dina and the Tatreez Collective directly. So thank you so much, Dina. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sash.
Thank you. Be well. So we move on to